I'm back. It's been a while. I'm in the final month of grad school now, and I'm working on my final big writing project, my thesis script, which is another feature screenplay. This is the sixth feature screenplay I'll have written once I finish it, and it is kind of kicking my butt right now. And the other day, I was sitting to myself and I was thinking, man, I got to get back to how I was writing over the summer, where I was writing almost every day and was producing just so many pages a day. And like, man, why was I so disciplined over the summer? And why is it so much harder to be disciplined now? Aside from just over the summer, I only had one project to focus on, and now I'm split between several. A lot has been going on lately in both life and school, and so there's a lot of, it just feels like my attention is divided, and it's much harder when I'm trying to fit in writing this thesis project into an already busy schedule, and the thesis writing is almost self-driven. There's very few like external checkpoints or deadlines. Anyway, so I was thinking to myself, giving myself all this credit for how disciplined I was over the summer, and then I remembered it's not that I was disciplined over the summer, it's that there was a camera. I felt accountable because a couple of people watched every video, and most of them were people I knew who would reach out. And if a video was late, or if it didn't look like I was posting, they'd reach out and be like, hey, how's it going? How's the writing going? And that's what this has been missing. For all my other classes, all my other projects I've worked on in the however long, 6 months or so since the last video, there's been really tight deadlines to get done, like under pressure. And so like those I've gotten done no problem. This thesis one, there's one giant deadline, which is the script is due at the end of the quarter, but there aren't a ton of checkpoints that affect other people along the way. And so I'm creating one for myself by coming back to these videos. I will not have time to upload one every single day like I did over the summer, but I will do my best to record every writing session from here on out as I work on this thesis script. I want to hold myself to account a little bit more for getting work done as many days as possible a week on this script until it's done. I'll be filming time lapses of my writing again. I'll be posting these videos again so that you, whoever you are, can see me doing it. And I feel accountable to you, whether you're a friend, family, total stranger, or somebody who just randomly got this recommended to you. You're helping me feel like somebody's standing over my shoulder, which is exactly what I need right now. So thank you. The feature I'm writing is a horror movie. It's a micro budget horror movie that should be really lean. I'm looking for 85, 90 pages. I've written 31, 32 so far. I have an outline that's prepped and ready. Altogether, this project is more organized than the summer novel project was, so the execution should be cleaner. It's just that my brain feels divided between 1,000 different things, and this script is only one of them. And so I need these sessions to help ground my brain into this script being the only thing that I am worried about while I'm working on it. We'll see if this is helpful. I really suspect it will be. Today, what we're worried about is leaping back into the second act. Today's writing session will be all about getting first draft scenes done in the second act. So act one of the movie is done. The first draft, at least, is done. And we've gotten our characters to engage with the sort of main tension of the second act. And there's a bunch of interesting questions hanging in the air about like what's happening in this haunted building they're in. It's a scary movie. Scary stuff will happen. But the point is, the reason I've been sort of flagging as I've been trying to get these last few writing sessions done is I'm hitting that really hard stretch that like stops a lot of writers cold in many different stories, whether they're prose or screenplays or whatever. It's the second act problem of you've written your first act, you've done all the exciting stuff of like setting up an interesting world and characters and like starting them on a journey. If you're like me in this case, you may even have an outline with kind of an ending in mind, and you know roughly what kind of arc, what kind of journey you're taking your character on through the course of the movie, what lesson you're teaching them. But the middle part, that second act, which is a big chunk of any movie, this is tough. This is the craft part of screenwriting, where like the fun and the inspiration are like not carrying me through the rest of this. Now it is just like it's one of my professors is fond of saying that this section of the script is bricklaying. It's it's schematic. Even if you know exactly what scenes you need, like writing them for the first time, getting them in order, making sure that there's like a clear chain of causality so that each sequence and scene are like feeding into and causing the next, and all of the scenes are entertaining in their own right, and the characters and their dispositions make sense from scene to scene. Like juggling all of that, while also just trying to be coherent. Like it is a kind of Herculean task. It's a miracle that any movie gets written or made. That's just like what I keep feeling more and more the more of these that I write. But here we are. I'm doing the hard part. I'm in the second act, and it can't last forever. So I'm eager to jump in, knock out some pages, and I'm a little behind on this thesis script. So I really would like to have a pretty chunky writing session today, get through a lot of pages if I can. Let's see how it goes. I'll talk to you afterwards. It is insane how immediately useful this was. It's weird. It's almost like the camera rolling gives like makes me feel like I like have permission to treat this project like the only thing that needs to be in my mind for this hour and a half. So it was fantastic. I wrote 9 pages. I think there's some pretty good dialogue. Some of it's very first drafty. There's a little bit of like placeholder stuff, but like it's a vomit draft. That's going to happen. I'll talk about this more in length in the future, but one of my professors teaches a sequence outline for how to write movies, this sort of sequencing method that breaks the movie into 8 chunks. It's a little bit less stuffy and formulaic than something like Save the Cat. And it's more of just a like structural tool for organizing your writing sessions into like clean divisible workloads. But it's also handy for thinking about the second act in particular. In this sequence outline, Act 1 is 2 sequences, Act 2 is 4 sequences split in half by a midpoint, and Act 3 is also 2 sequences. So I was really like just sort of getting into sequence 2.1, the sort of first sequence in the second act before this writing session, but I've knocked out that sequence and then some. Now we are at 42 or 43 pages. Again, out of like 85 is the main goal. So if I can just do a few more of these sessions that feel as focused and concentrated as these, we'll be at our finished first draft in no time. That's all for this session, I guess. I feel a little rusty. I don't really remember how much I talked about process versus just recapping each session last time, but this feels fine for this one. I'm treating this mostly like an accountability tool and less like a highly produced process video, but we may do some of those in the future. I think it'd be, especially as I wind down this writing program, I could see how it could be useful to try and dust off my old teaching skills from teaching high school math and combine it with everything that I learned here at grad school and sort of force myself to try and like teach some of the writing lessons that I learned to just make sure that I've like actually got them locked in my head. I got a small taste of that the other day doing a sort of guest lecture, a TA lecture for the professor I'm TAing for. And I got to do a writing lecture for a whole 2.5 hours. And that was really illuminating. I mean, I was just following along with the exact same presentation that my professor gives, and so none of it was my original instruction, or I wasn't contributing new pedagogical knowledge to this lecture in any way, but just being able to give that lecture in riff showed me how much I've learned in the past year and a half, almost 2 years of grad school. I distinctly remember hearing that lecture for the first time, hearing this professor give that lecture for the first time in fall 2024, and it just blowing my mind and immediately making me think like this class alone will be worth the price of entry for graduate school. So to get to give that lecture myself a year and a half later and actually feel like confident giving it and like I knew how to deliver the exact same lessons that had blown my mind when I first got here to grad school, it was a really cool experience. Yeah, maybe we'll do some writing lessons video type things here. Really, just more than anything, me sharing whatever tips or craft tricks or wisdom I've gained from just having to write a lot for the past year and a half. Cool. It's cool to be doing this again. Hope you got something out of it, and we'll be back for another one soon.